and that's what you guys are gonna be doing on the block itself. This next step is printing, which is what we're gonna learn how to do next week. So don't worry too much about remembering the burnishing with the spoon and all that. So okay. So I'm just gonna go over some of the supplies and the tools we're gonna be using. So this is a lino block. This is what you're going to be carving in. And you will also be getting a carving tool and a bearing, which will come later on with the printing. I'm not going to pull it out right now, but it is the little handheld instrument on the right side in the image. The rolling tool is called a brayer. Again, you don't have to remember these things just right now. I'm introducing them to you. I'm going to be kind of repetitive about these things because lino cutting is all about the process. Hey, Oscar. Oscar, you're not going to know how to do this unless you pay attention. So please pay attention. Thank you. Okay, so this is your carving tool. This is your block. The first thing I'm going to demonstrate today is how to prep your block for printing, or for carving, I should say. So once you're given a block, I'm gonna have you guys go to the back of the classroom over here, and you'll find 2 containers. There might be more. I might change out the colors as we go through the lesson, but there's gonna be watered down paint over here. And what will happen is you will get a piece of scrap paper from over here, lay it down underneath your block. If anyone needs to see, like, come close, please. If you can't see or you don't know what I'm doing, come closer. So with the paintbrush and the watered down paint, I'm going to cover my block with this. It's not going to be super even, and it might fight you a little bit, but like I said, the main thing is we're just trying to create contrast on your block. And then afterwards, you're going to take, oops, you're not going to do that. You're going to take one of the hair dryers. This is a hair dryer. You're going to plug it in. And I would put it up to, or down to high. And you're going to dry your block. So I'm not going to stand here and literally make you guys watch me like dry paint. But just for, oopsie. Just to gauge how you guys are feeling, does everyone understand how to do this step so far? Can I get thumbs up if we understand? Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so after your block is prepped, I did have an extra one made up. I don't remember where I put it actually, but we're gonna pretend that this is dry, and you're going to go back to your desk. And you'll be given, what do we call these? The wooden things?
The bench pin? It's not a pin, but...
They will be over here in this cabinet. They look like this. Okay, so you'll take this, and it will go on your desk like this. So if you see there's like a lip under here, it's meant to latch on to the side of your desk so that when you carve, your block doesn't move around, okay? So I found the block I was talking about. I'm gonna put this over here and grab my carving tool. Or I guess not just carving tool.
And then also, you guys, after you paint your block, because you're prepping it to get ready to use it, take a Sharpie and put your name on it, because they're all gonna look the same, yeah. So put your name on it.
I'm gonna grab my example. Okay, so does anyone remember how we transferred our self-portraits onto our final painting paper? Painting paper? Does anyone else remember like what we did on the back of it? Shaded, okay. And then we flipped it over, and what did we do with the image? Just back over it. So what you'll notice with this is it's going to be a lot of that again. There's going to be tracing happening and a little bit of back and forth. So this was the design that I came up with personally for mine. I went through a couple of design process, and this was the one I landed on. So once you have your design figured out and you've colored in the parts of your design that you want printed, you're going to grab a piece of tracing paper. It's called vellum over here on the table. You're gonna grab one of these, or a sheet of these. Don't grab the whole thing, please. Leave the pack up here. You're gonna grab a sheet of that, some tape, and I would grab a Sharpie. And like where I was just saying, it's really smart to write your name on the back of your block. Especially because there's gonna be a lot of you guys carving at the same time. So I'm gonna write my name on the back. And with my image, I'm going to take my tracing paper and tape it down. Oh. I'm gonna tape it down. And I'm going to go over my image. I'm gonna do it kind of roughly for you guys today so that you don't have to, again, sit through the whole thing. As you can tell, I'm just outlining all of the lines that I'm wanting on my block. I'm gonna do this way. Okay, and I'm gonna do only a little bit, but you guys are going to trace your entire image, okay? And once you have your entire image transferred, you're going to take a pencil, which we'll get the soft pencils back out and over here for you guys to transfer the images. But you'll take a pencil just like we did on the self-portrait, and you're going to flip it over and scribble all along the back, so that when we put it onto our block, it will transfer the image. Does anyone, do we think that the pencil is going to stay on the block after we transfer it, or do you think it would be smart to go over it again with Sharpie so it doesn't move anywhere? Thumbs up for Sharpie, thumbs down if you can get away with just pencil. I wanna see what you guys are thinking. Okay, smart. You do want to go back over it again with Sharpie because it will get rubbed away once you're carving, because when you're moving your block around, you're going to be touching it, and you don't want your image to disappear because it's going to be a lot harder for you to line it back up and transfer it again. So once I have my image scribbled over, I'm going to take my block and place it, I'm so sorry guys, rewind. When you're tracing your thing, or your image, not thing isn't a good word. Trace your image, also draw the box that you drew around it. Can anyone tell me how big the box is supposed to be? 5 inches by 5 inches, thank you ma'am. That is right. So our images are 5 inches by 5 inches. So let me show you guys what I just did there. Is I outlined my image so I know how big my block size is going to be. So that when I take it to my block and I line it up, I can see that I have a little bit of space around the sides, and I have this big chunk on the bottom here. This chunk is going to be for you guys to practice. You guys will see that there's different sizes of tips. And so you might want to just kind of experiment with what feels good for you and what you want to use around your design. So once I found a good place for it to sit, I'm going to take some more tape. And tape it down to my block. And the other good thing about using Sharpie is you can see it through the tape. on there. And so once my image is on my block, I'm going to take my pencil and go back over my shapes, just like we did with our self-portraits.
Now, while she's doing that, so when we print these, they're going to be in reverse, okay? Her hummingbird is pointing to the right, or to the left. When we print it, the hummingbird's beak is going to be on the right, because it's going to be reversed, like a mirror image, okay? If your image really depends on going a certain way, you might want to put the tracing paper, do the scribbling on the front side, and then turn it over and trace it. Does that make sense? Okay.
And that's another good reason to use Sharpie if you want to do the reverse image of it, because if you traced over your image with pencil and then you scribbled over it with pencil, you wouldn't really be able to see what you just did. So it's best to do Sharpie and then scribble over it with pencil. Okay, so I just went over, it's gonna be a little bit light, but I just went over my image with my pencil. Don't pay attention to the lines that are on here. That was just an uh-oh. But now I can see where my lines are and I can start planning on how I'm gonna start carving. So like I said, this is your carving tool and the nibs live inside of the handle. So if you open up the bottom, you'll find, it'll be 4 to 5 different sizes. We have a number 1, which is going to be a thin tip that's best for lining things. And we've got a 2 and a 3, which are going to be V-shaped. And these are also good for after you've outlined something, going back by it with these to widen your lines and carve more block away. 4 is going to be a square shaped nib, and this is going to take it's going to take away more block area at once. So if you have a big section you want to get rid of, that'd be smart to use your 4 or your 5, which is going to be a lot bigger of a semicircle. And this is good for scraping away really big areas. So to start off, I would definitely suggest using your number 1 nib. And to put it into your carving tool, you're going to find that there's a ball and a cap in the handle, and you're going to take your nib and slide it in between the ball and the cap. You want to make sure it's loose, so you can slide it in, shimmy it down, and then you're going to twist it to tighten it, okay? You want to make sure this is tight because you don't want it slipping out and going somewhere when you're trying to carve. And so now for carving.
So for a second, if you guys have problems with that, have us help you out for the first couple times till you get it.
Yeah.
Because if you lose any part of this carving tool, it's ineffective. So we don't want, these will roll around the room and we don't, so if you're unsure, just ask us, we'll help you.
Yeah,
You don't know what you're doing.
A lot of these are old and rusty, and we can help you guys figure that out. Okay, so now that I'm ready to start carving, I have my block set onto my wooden table holder. If anyone wants to see it a little bit closer, you can feel free to come over behind me. There's also going to be a video. But what I like to do is I'll hold my carving tool kind of like a pencil, like this. And I use my other hand to hold and guide the top of the carving tool. So that when I'm going in, I'm not just carving like this. There's not a lot of support happening there when you do it like that. But if I'm holding it and I'm guiding it, I can have a lot more control, okay? And the other thing with this process is you can't really make it go faster. You just have to power through it, okay? Don't rush it because you're going to hurt yourself and you might hurt your block because you can carve all the way through these things. So we want to make sure to be gentle to the nibs and gentle to the block. So to start carving, you want to put it down on the surface of the linoleum and press forward, pressure forward. Oh, maybe, there we go. So this nib is not that sharp, I'm learning. But that's okay. There we go. Okay. So you're going to press forward. You do not want, you kind of want to glide along the lino. You don't want to stab down and then like keep stabbing like this. You want to keep it pretty level and smooth, like you're kind of skating through the linoleum.
So this part, this V part on the cutter, the bottom of the V is what cuts. The top doesn't cut. The little valley, however big the valley is at the bottom, that's how big of a cut it's gonna make, okay? So you're skimming across it.
Skim, that's a good word, skimming across.
And everywhere she cuts, it's not gonna pick up ink. Everywhere she leaves, it's gonna pick up ink.
Right, so that's why I had you guys color in what you want to be printed, because you're going to carve all of the negative empty space away. So I'm changing out my tool now that I did a little line next to my shape. I'm changing out my tool. And see, if I'm having trouble with this, you guys are also gonna have trouble.
So let us help you.
Please let us help you. There's no shame.
I have a question for you guys. Based on this image, so everywhere where it's dark, that's where she wants it raised. That's where she wants it to pick up ink. Where would you start carving in this image? What do you think she needs to take away? Take a guess. I don't expect you to know. Take a guess.
Like the outside of your design?
The outside of what?
Like her design. Like tracing out.
Like around what specifically? Like the
She said design, like shapes.
design, the hummingbird and the
Nice.
shapes. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I started doing. So I started outlining this side of my hummingbird. I started going in with the one tip, and now I'm taking the number 3. I'm trying to get it into my tool, but it's being difficult right now. So maybe I'm gonna take my 2. Okay, yeah, we'll take the 2. And also, if these nibs can carve through linoleum and wood, they're gonna carve through your skin. Okay? So when you're carving away from your body. You do not have your hand here holding this and carving towards your hand, because you will stab yourself. Okay? Where your hands should be is behind the nib. That's why I was telling you guys to hold it like a pencil and support it with your other hand like this, because I don't have any skin in front of the nib, okay? You always want to have your fingers behind the nib. This is very sharp.
Should they practice here first?
Oh, thank you. So, although I've started this line here, I just want to show you guys, like what we were pointing out, you want to outline your shapes and your images first before you start carving out all of the big sections. So down here, remember how I said you guys can practice down here? I would suggest you guys taking each of your nibs and making at least 3 or 4 lines with them, just so you guys can get a feel for how to hold your tool. You don't have to hold it just like me. If you want to hold, if there's a different way that you're holding, that's okay. As long as your fingers are behind the nib, okay? And by doing so on the bottom, you'll be able to see the different line weights that you can get with these. Similar to when you guys were drawing with graphite and the Zentangles, there's different line weights to different nibs. So once you have a good handle on the different sizes, that's when you want to start outlining your shapes and carving around your design. So once you've outlined the shapes, you're going to take your bigger nibs and carve right next to those outlines. Again, taking your time, don't rush it. And when you get to the end of a line that you're making, you can kind of almost scoop up like this. You're going to kind of lift it up, and that will cut off the end of the line that you were just making. So I just carved that next to the line that I was tracing around my shapes. And so what we want you guys to really focus on is practicing on the bottom with the different sizes, because you'll notice that there's a big difference between like the 5 and the 1. And there's also a big difference between outlining something in a 1 and then going around it with a 2 and just going around it with a 2. I think you'll find that you're gonna have a lot less detail and it's going to be a little bit more chunky if you go straight in with the big nibs. So your biggest nib, like I said, is going to be your 5. And this is the nib I would recommend for scraping out your bigger sections. I think when you come across a big section, it can be kind of intimidating because there's a lot to get out of it in a way. So spend some time making like a little bit of a carving motion that, like I said, like this can be meditative. You can really get into it. You can get into the groove of things. So just come up with some sort of big chunk carving pattern, whether it's big long strokes or a bunch of short little strokes, to really carve out larger sections.
And if you need to also, you can move the block around to however you need to do it. This is just holding it for you.
Yeah.
Wherever
So-
you need it, okay?
So I was just carving like this and I was using it so I can carve this direction. You can turn it this way so you can get details that are going more that direction, or if you have some angles to get into. And then yeah, you can turn it all different ways.
Do you guys know what it is we're carving on? Do you know what this is? Do any of you have linoleum at your house?
Like floor.
Like flooring where it's all one piece, like they rolled it out and glued it down? Yeah? That's what this is.
It's flooring.
It's flooring. This is before they put a design on it and put it in the oven to bake it. Okay, so this is what it looks like before they put some funky checkers and color onto it. So it started out with wood carving, people carved into wood, and then they created linoleum, and so artists had to carve into that too, right? Yeah.
And also remember that with these tools, not only can you like mark or carve around shapes and stuff, you can also make texture. And so this kind of goes back to the line weight thing. I am carving a bird. And so if I wanted to add some feather texture inside of the tail of my bird, I can add just little scores of the marks. And because I want my bird to be dark, when I'm carving these away, it's going to create contrast in my image. And it will make it look like my bird has some feathers. Okay. Does anyone have any questions just right off the bat? And can I get a show of thumbs? How are we feeling about this? Thumb up, good. Thumb sideways, thumb down. Good. Okay.
Should be a little, you should be a little bit confused.
You should, it's okay to
It's
be a little
new.
confused, but as long as you feel good about getting into it, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
I think that's